think I did it. I did it. Golly. Let me tell you, this has been a 20-minute process trying to go live on YouTube because the stupid chat box opens up all the way to the right side, so I can't click the go live button. So that's super, super annoying. So YouTube, I hope you watch this. Maybe you won't, maybe you will. But yeah, so your dumb live chat box covers my go live button, so I couldn't go live. So I've been watching Dave Portnoy. He's the president of Barstool Sports. I got to give him the credit for why I even decided to start doing this. Nowhere in my mind do I believe I'm anywhere near as smart as Dave Portnoy, nor do I think I'm as rich as him or in any sort of financial position like that. Also, these blogs are going to be about the stock market. I'm not going to cut any corners on that honesty. Or being honest about it. I'm not here to give financial advice. I don't suggest you do anything I say. I don't think you should do anything I do, but I'm here to share my opinion on certain stocks because in the last 3.5 months or so, I've really started focusing a lot into the stock market and developed this new passion for it. And I think I could probably get rich so much that, look at this. See, I believe in foreshadowing. So look at this thing. See this bull? This bull was given to me by my mom when I first moved into towards the end of my old lease in my old apartment, moving into here. So this bull has been following me. So I believe everything is a sign. I believe everything is a sign. Everything is a signpost in life. And in March, I've always heard invest in yourself. So I decided I would start investing in myself. And I did so through the stock market. Now, I'll give you the full rundown how this happened to me. And then I'll kind of get into what I get hit up with questions quite a bit, which led me to do this whole thing. So first off, COVID-19 kind of took over. We started working from home all the time. And so my work day dramatically decreased. Didn't mean I'm not doing as much work as I did before, but the actual day of like having to go to the radio station that, I don't have to go to the radio station anymore. I can wake up and I can prepare my show here at the house. And so I had an abundance of free time. So I was like, what am I going to do with all this free time? I decided I would start studying the stock market and playing more golf. So I started studying the stock market though. And first thing I learned about the stock market is it was extremely complicated. They definitely made it confusing on purpose so that you don't just read it and understand it. It's a whole bunch of numbers. You don't know what the hell those numbers mean. But also, that some of those numbers mean money, but you don't really know how it translated or how it calculates. Well, I've always believed that if I could just inundate myself in anything, I could learn it. Didn't matter what it was. So that's what I started doing with the stock market. I just started watching video after video. One of my good friends told me to check out Thinkorswim, which is a TD Ameritrade platform, if you will, that they offer for free. So once you open your account with TD Ameritrade, you can have a Thinkorswim account. And they offer all these cool videos on how you can, to teach you some of the jargon of the stock market, because I think that's the biggest challenge. So anyways, back in March, I was getting ready to buy a house. And I knew my pay was about to get reduced a little bit because of COVID-19. So I said, you know what, let me get some money out of my 401k. They have the CARE Act, which allowed me to take money out of my 401k and with no penalty. And it was pre-tax, so there weren't taxes on it. So it was basically free money that I've been saving up over the last 6 years. Now, before I get the hate about you shouldn't touch your 401k, your future, there wasn't enough in there to retire on anyway. One day there will be. Right now there's not. And quite frankly, I know that Vanguard, that's who handles my 401k. They do an incredible job. I'm very thankful for them. But at the same time, let me have some fun with my money too. That's basically how I felt about it. I like to gamble. I like to play cards. I like to play Texas Hold'em. I enjoy going to Las Vegas. But the thing about gambling versus the stock market that really spoke to me is that if you play a blackjack hand for $1,000, you lose that $1,000 hand, you're gone. It's $1,000 is down the drain. That's not the case with the stock market. I mean, it could be the case, but it's generally not the case. You put a $1,000 bet on the stock market, and what happens? You're like, boom, it went up in price. Now I made $300 today because I made a $1,000 bet on this business that I believed in, and the stock went up. So now I can cha-ching, cash out, and take my $1,300. I made $300 off my $1,000. So where my mind started going with this was, A, invest in myself, and then B, like, why wouldn't I enjoy that? Why wouldn't I try to see what I can do? Why not believe in my own intelligence, believe in my own abilities? And so then the more I started really looking into the stock market and started really looking into stocks and trading and how to make money on it, the more I realized everyone has an opinion who's in it. And so I started searching through Twitter, Google, Yahoo Finance, all these different places to look at stocks that I believed in, see what other people are saying about it, see if other people believe in it. And so I had early successes. So now some people use the Robinhood app. I never really used that. I started with Stash. And the real way I started with Stash was more than 3 years ago, I Googled how to get free money. And it took me to Stash. And they said they'd give me $5 if I opened an account. So I opened an account, they gave me $5, and then I started investing. Well, with Stash, you could buy like partial shares. So let's say so what I started doing is I started having $20 every week or $25 every week come out of my account twice, once for Disney, once for Apple. And so I figured I was wasting $25 a week anyways in different ways, and more than one time, $50 a week. So I wouldn't notice this money was gone, hopefully, which I didn't. So over a while, that money started piling up, and then I went to look and I had like $3,500, but I'd only put in like $2,300 because the stock had gone up. So I earned money off those partial shares. Well, on TD Ameritrade app, you can't buy partial shares, but that was a cool thing about Stash. I still have a little bit of money that comes out every Friday that goes into Stash. I try to forget about it. It's only $10 a week, way less than it used to be. But I think, maybe I forget about it, and then in 2 years, it's like $10,000. Who knows what it could do? But the point is, if you're just beginning, you're kind of like me. I like the TD Ameritrade app just because it's super easy to understand. It comes with the Thinkorswim platform that comes when you open your account. And basically, the best way I can explain the way I see it is, instead of leaving money in my checking account or my savings account, earning very little interest, and I have it there because I want to be able to pay my mortgage and want to make sure I have mortgage payments backing me up. It wasn't earning anything really at all. So I figured, well, if I can take the money out of my TD Ameritrade account in 3 to 5 days, well, then I'll just put all my money that I would normally have in my checking account in my TD Ameritrade account, and then I can trade stocks. And so it's like a checking account, but not really, right? I can't write checks to my TD Ameritrade account, but it does work because I can just put money into it whenever I want, and then I can trade in the stock market, and then hopefully it goes up. So, I mean, I didn't know if I was going to be completely honest with how much money I was trading, but I figured I'd be just completely honest. So I put in right at $12,000 over the last 3 months, over the course of the 3 months. It came in different phases, and it started off kind of slow because I found some stocks I wanted. Then I wanted to put more money into the TD Ameritrade account because I was like, man, well, I'm doing really well, so I might as well put a little more and buy some more stocks. I wanted to buy more stocks, so I need more money to do that. And so then I found myself inundated in information about stocks and options, and I found out that really quickly that I didn't know a whole lot at all. But I made some really good choices. Big hats off to Erin Austin from work. She had told me about a couple pharmaceutical stocks she had looked into, and one of them was MBRX, Molecular Biotech, MBRX. This was one of the first ones that I feel like I hit big with, right? So the idea was I had, I think I bought like $1,000 worth of shares, and it was like 42 cents a share. And so they got me like 3,500 shares or something crazy like that. Don't fact check my numbers. This was a long time ago. Point is, that stock went through the roof. It went all the way up to $1. So I made 50 cents for every share I had. So I made like, almost a little over $1,000 or whatever it was. I remember being amazed with how much money I made and how quickly it was. So I sold off all the stocks, got out of there, and I had all that money. So then from there, I decided there was this company called SHIP, S-H-I-P. It's actually Synergy Maritime Holdings Company. That is the name of the company. The stock symbol was SHIP. And for whatever reason, I noticed it. I don't know where it was that I found it, but it was like 12 cents a share. And so I started buying up a bunch of shares. And I figured 12 cents a share, man, you can buy a lot of shares for a couple $100. I ended up adding up to like 35,000 shares of this one company called SHIP. So while I was slowly buying shares to SHIP at 12 and 13 cents a piece, slowly building up to that 20 or 30,000 that I got to, there was a company called Nabors Industries here, and they're some of their companies are here in Houston. They have subsidiaries, and they have businesses in the up, mid, and downstream of the oil and gas company or oil and gas industry. So when the oil crashed right before the pandemic hit in February, March, they saw a huge decline. They jumped from like $90 a share all the way down to what was as low as 11 or 12 at one point. Well, I saw it at 25, and I decided I was going to put some money on it. So I put some money on it, and to my amazement, it went up to like $35, like immediately, boom, 35. So I made close to $10 a share out of the gate super quick. and I made like $700-800, maybe $1,000 in like 2 days. And I was like, holy crap, does the money really happen like this? You know, is this really happening? So I asked my friend, I said, is this real? So you're saying that if I put money into this business and the price of the shares goes up, I make that difference? He goes, yeah. I go, and I can just take that money and that's my money? He goes, yeah. And so that kind of freaked me out a little bit. So as NBR dropped back down a little bit to like 33, I decided to buy more. So I bought more. And then what happened? It jumped all the way to $83. From $33 to $83, $50 a share. Like, I don't remember how many shares I had, but I remember like almost peeing myself because I couldn't believe how much money I made in like 3 days while that stock went up. So I was like, man, I better sell this because I don't know what's going to happen. So when it got down to 76, I sold it and I made thousands of dollars off of it. It was a huge hit. It was really, really great. So what did I do? I bought more SHIB, because I believed in SHIB, and I'd done all this research on SHIB, and SHIB eventually did spike. SHIB jumped all the way up to 34 cents was the highest point. I sold at 27 cents. And after that, a whole bunch of crazy shit happened. Like they went to a 16-to-1 reverse split, which if you're new to the stock market, a 16-to-1 split is like, it's terrible. Your dividend, your potential for gain gets cut by 16s, and it's awful. So I got out before it happened, but a lot of people stayed in it, and I think they're still experiencing loss. And to them, I feel for y'all because I almost didn't get out in time either, and I could have made like 4,900, but I escaped by making only like 1,400 or so. So at this point now, I've got more money in my stocks. My shares have gone up. I've sold my shares, and so I started poking around, getting more friends involved and interested in this. And so I decided to do this blog because over the last like 3 weeks, I probably had 3 or 4 people message me asking me how to get started and what I think they should do. And I'm not one to give any advice as to what you should do with your money, but I think I'm kind of getting a grasp of the stocks and how to spot a good stock and stocks that I believe in, and watch and being able to cut my losses before it gets too bad. That's another big part about the stock market game. And so I introduced the stock market and TD Ameritrade app to one of my really good friends, and it turns out his dad does a lot of trading. He's been doing trading for a really long time. And so we started picking his brain on information and asking questions. And that's what I've mainly have learned about the stock market is you can ask everyone a question. Everyone's got a different perspective. Nobody's one way is right. Everyone has their own way. A lot of money is different to a lot of different people. And so my buddy, his dad showed me a little bit about selling puts and selling options and selling covered calls. And these are ways, this is kind of like, I don't know if it's actually level 2, but I feel like it's called level 2, meaning that this is the second level to trade in stocks. There's one level where you buy a stock, it goes up, you sell it for a profit, and you make money. And then there's a way you can leverage those shares against themselves. And so that's kind of been the new thing I've been learning. So let me tell you what happened in the last week, because while I've been kind of rambling and ranting about all this stuff to try to catch you up to why I'm even here doing this video blog, and quite frankly, I really want to share as much information as I can. So I've kind of caught you up to this week. And this week has been the most experimental and most stressful week in the stock market ever. But it's been a good stress, not a bad stress, right? So essentially speaking, last Wednesday, I liquidated all my assets because I woke up and everything was red. And I was tired of seeing everything red. I was like, I can't believe everything's red, right? So I just sell everything off, and it came down to like $16,800 or something that I had in my account. And so I'd heard about Nikola, NKLA, and this is a company that makes these hydrogen trucks. And they're kind of following the Tesla model in that you put in you put in a pre-order, and they decide how many pre-orders, and then they start to make them and deliver them. Well, they don't even have a factory yet, right? They haven't even made any yet. They just got the test models from what I understand, and the stock was through the roof, like $50 some odd. Well, I just felt crazy. I'd heard about it, so I went ahead and bought $10,000 worth of Nikola stock, which got me like 200 shares. That was a big buy, right? I don't normally make $10,000 buys, but something about it felt like I was going to take a shot on last Wednesday. And so when I bought them, we get on the phone with my friend's dad, and he tells me, oh, you should have done a put so that you could get paid to buy them. Well, I didn't really know a whole lot about puts at the time, so I just kind of shrugged it off. And he's like, but you could do a covered call. So in a covered call, basically, if you own 200 shares, that's equal to 2 covered call contracts. And I was able to sell those shares at $2 higher than I bought them. and which would make me $400, plus got paid a premium to do so. So I actually made like close to like $600-700 off that one trade doing this. Well, I lost my Nikola shares, but I made money, made profit, and pocketed some really good cash. So I was like, oh, well, that was pretty cool. At the same time, I bought NIO shares, NIO. So NIO is this company that I very strongly believe in right now. Honestly, I hope everybody believes in NIO. That'd be really awesome because it would save me a little bit of money this week, which would be really cool. But basically, NIO is an electric car company out of China. This electric car company, unlike Nikola, who doesn't have even a factory open yet, NIO is producing vehicles and selling them. Producing and selling and delivering. They're manufacturing them. They have actual electric vehicles going out. It has artificial intelligence in them, but they're in China. They've only delivered to some European and some Asian countries right now, like 10,000 last month, but they're expected to deliver way more this month. If that happens, that price could go through the roof, and I'm really hoping NIO turns out to be that stock for me. So to put it in perspective, I sold a put. Well, that if you don't know anything about stock market jargon, that doesn't make any sense to you. But basically, I got paid a premium to agree to buy stocks at $14 a share if it dropped below $14 a share, which it did. So I sold out. I sold the contract, got out of it on Tuesday because I started that on Monday. And it was a weekly contract, so it would expire tomorrow. So I got super nervous. My friends were calling me; they were panicking. Everybody was freaking out. There was this massive sell-off, and sure as shit, the price of the stock dropped below the $14 mark that I needed. So I had to sell. I didn't have to, but I sold my puts, and then I redid 5 at a $12.50 price, meaning that if the price drops below $12.50, then I'll buy 400 shares at that price. And so essentially my whole point of that is that it created a stressful week because I was waiting all week long watching this price go up and down of NIO, and it's still above 1250. Actually, let me look right now. I've been watching this almost 24 hours a day nonstop. So let's see here. NIO is at 1285 right now. That's a good sign. 1285. So if it stays above 1250, I'm a happy camper. We got to have that happen through all day tomorrow. So NIO is one of the stocks that I'm really, really looking forward to. I plan on watching closely. And so then the other stock that I want to tell you about that actually Aaron, my coworker, introduced me to this one too, and I introduced it to my best friend, and we've all got in fairly large, and it's Todos Medical Supply, I believe, TODOS. They're out of Israel, and they make rapid test kits. So basically, they have a rapid test detection kit that they've been working on for Alzheimer's and for cancer patients. And so the hope was that they'll be able to just test the blood into this little cassette, put a pipette of your blood. It tells you whether you have cancer or Alzheimer's. I believe that's what they're working on. So when COVID-19 struck, they began working on rapid COVID-19 tests, and they work. They are effective, but they do have a false negative, like a 1 in 10 false negative, which they want to get. That's like way better than that, way better option. So the hope is that if they have these COVID-19 tests and they work and they're the fastest, most reliable rapid test, well, then these could get used everywhere, right? Well, wouldn't you know it? It was 9 cents last night and this morning, 9 cents a share, an official penny stock. So you have to pay like a little fee to actually buy the penny stock for some reason. Again, I'm not an expert. I don't know anything about this, but I'm figuring it out, right? And the stock was 9 cents yesterday. So this morning I woke up bright and early, 8:30 as the stock market opened that TD Ameritrade app, and I bought about 400 or 500 shares, right? And it was so cheap to buy 400 or 500 shares. And I was like, what am I doing? Let me buy more. So I went ahead and got up to 8,000 shares. I bought 8,000 shares at 10 cents a piece. Wouldn't you know it? 13 cents today. It went up to 13 cents. We're talking a 46% increase today. Why? Why? Because they got rapid testing. They got requested by Brazil to have their rapid tests sent over. From Israel to Brazil, rapid test, that tells me money. That means that someone's paying them for those rapid tests, and then that's a whole country. We're not talking about a city. We're talking about a whole country, one of the biggest countries in the world. And so then you have Brazil, and who's to say Latin America is the next? So my hope, because I have 8,000 shares, and I hope for my best friend, Matt, who has 20,000 shares, because remember, they were only 9 cents this morning. We stocked up. If that goes to $1 a share, that's equal to $8,000. That's amazing on the stock market, right? It's like too good to be true. but it's not because it's just the way it works. So at the same time, that stock could bust. Tomorrow we could turn around, it could have dropped down to 2 cents and we lose all that money. But that's the game you play. But at the same time, that's why it's not gambling, it's the stock market. So my whole point is check it out if you like it. If you're looking for penny stocks, this is what I'm looking for. I don't suggest you buy it, but I bought it. I bought 8,000 shares of it. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But I really got a feeling that if that goes like $1 or $2, we're going to be dressing way nicer on the next video tomorrow afternoon. Going to have to comb the hair for it. But I plan to do these every day. The reason I called it Money Train Fight Club, because I just started calling it the Money Train because I kept making money every day and every week in the stock market. So I was like, I feel like I'm on a money train. And so then Fight Club, I feel like I could be totally wrong about this. Fight Club people, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Fight Club was all in that dude's imagination. He was like a schizophrenic, and sometimes I feel crazy because I get so excited and passionate about this. And the fact that I even wanted to start a video blog and talk about stock market is so weird, because had you asked me this 6 months ago, would I do this? I would never in a million years would have thought I cared so much to do a 21-minute video after a day of trading and a day of watching the stock market. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm not an expert, but I can lead you in the right direction. I can introduce you to the experts. Most people, if you know someone in finance or you know someone in business and you ask them about this, they're going to tell you to stay the hell away from the stock market. I get that. I think you should stay away too. Don't do anything because I'm doing it. But I will say opening a TD Ameritrade app or TD Ameritrade account was super easy. I do it all on my phone. I've made close to $7,000 in 3 months, which to me is really cool. Maybe that's not a lot. It's probably not, because I know some people make millions, But I plan on coming back and talking about my favorite stocks, because I know that when I had stocks that I cared about and I was interested in, I started researching. I started watching people's videos, people that didn't sound like they knew what they were talking about, but they had an opinion. So I listened and paid attention. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I plan on creating a following. I don't know who the one follower is who has watched this entire video, but I appreciate you. If you're the same one who's been here for all 22 minutes, God bless you. I have a feeling we'll have many more in the future, and who knows? Because at the end of the day, because if we have a whole bunch of people, like an army of Money Train Fight Club friends who all start to think the same way, we could influence the stock market ourselves. How cool would that be if we all were like, you know what, we're going to buy this stock today, and we all do it, and it goes up, we all make money? Because that's what Dave Portnoy is doing. I'm watching him. He's the captain of this new ship of stock market people, the Robin Hoods, the TD Ameritrade, those of us using our phone to try and make money, to create and invest in ourselves and create wealth. This is how we're going to do it, at least how I plan to do it. I mean, I can see myself raking into becoming a millionaire in the next couple of years if I do this right. I just can see it happening. Maybe I'm delusional, or maybe all the geniuses are a little bit crazy. Who knows what it is? But hey, Money Train Fight Club, that's the first one. This is the pilot episode. Hope I wasn't too over the top. I could probably be a little more over the top, but it took me a long time to get on, so I lost a little bit of my gusto. So now that I figured out how to go live on YouTube, here we are, Money Train Fight Club, episode 1. That's a wrap.